应该是如果是判王励勤失分的话，那么是王浩罚球。王励勤呢认为就是说应该是判他失分是11-12，王浩领先1分。王浩呢来发球，那么王励勤很主动，跑上去以后呢，把这个积分牌翻了，把对方上了1分。那么这么关键的时刻，11平的时候。
So we see that, church, okay? The guy here in the red, again, he doesn't have to tell. No one knew. Even the umpire didn't know about it. He could have reserved and could have won the game. But his integrity says, no. You know, I know the ball hit my jersey and it's faulted. And I know because I play tennis a lot in tournaments and things like that. And it's so easy when, especially since we have no linesmen because, you know, we play in small games, you know, not like in US Open or something. So when the ball lands and it looks like it's in, but we call it out because we want the point. And this is not LIC Open or something, okay? This is Japan Open. But I'm glad there are people out there who says, you know, their conviction says, no, I know it faulted. And even though it may cost my game, my trophy, but he'd rather keep his integrity. And we need to do that, church. Oh, I don't know if he's a Christian or not, but we need, you know, to be a person of integrity, even when nobody knows. I will never forget a story I heard that I think that impacted me and I want to pass on to you. It's about a pastor, because this is a story about a pastor. This pastor, he found a dog, a stray dog. And then they found the dog, and then he brought the dog into his house, and then his 3 boys loved the dog. So they kept the dog for a few weeks, and then they were falling in love with the dog. But one day a man called the pastor, and he said that, I heard that you found a stray dog. I believe that's my dog. So this man began to describe the description of that dog. And the pastor knew that deep in his heart, the man was describing his dog, the dog that he found. But he doesn't want to give it away because, you know, his boys fell in love with that dog. So he said, well, you're describing a description of a dog that is very common. Why don't you tell me something specific about the dog? And the man on the phone said, well, if you look at his black tail, you will notice 3 coarse white hair. Okay, so I'm going to come in an hour, and I want to pick up my dog. So they hung up the phone, and the pastor looked at the dog with the boys, and they look at the black tail, and sure enough, there were 3 coarse white hair. But the children says, no, Daddy, we love this dog. You know, we want to keep this dog. And the pastor don't know what to do. He said, you know, what do we do? You know, do I give it back or what? You know what the pastor did? He took a plier, and he pulled the 3 white hair out, okay, from the tail. And so when the man came, he says, well, you know, you said there was 3 white, you know, hair, but I don't see any white hair in the tail. And so he could not prove it, so he left. But I will never forget what the person said, you know, about this. The pastor said, that day, I've gained a dog, but I lost 3 of my sons to Jesus Christ. Let me say that again. That day, I gained a dog, but I lost 3 of my sons to Jesus Christ. I lost them. You know why? Because the children saw that the father did not live up to what he preaches. The boys saw that here's the father preaching about integrity, but he himself would not keep his integrity in front of the boys when it comes to keeping a dog. So he gained a dog, but he lost 3 sons to Jesus Christ. In other words, they did not walk in their faith anymore because they saw the hypocrisy. In the church, we need to be a person of integrity. Proverbs put it this way: a good name is to be more desired than a great wealth. It's much, you know, it may cost us to buy another dog. It may cost us this game, the ping pong match. But it's okay. It's better to keep a good name than losing our integrity. Let's go on to the next one then. Vow number 9, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. This is it's very much related to number 8, you know, about integrity, but it's more specific. I believe this one is talking more about being truthful. It's talking about being honest, truthfulness and honesty. Because sometimes our problem, church, is not so much that we are liars, but we often bend the truth. We often kind of stretch the truth. We often cannot accept or being truthful or being honest about certain situations, about certain circumstances. And we're all guilty of that. That we often stretch things, to prove our point or whatever it is. And let me give you some examples to clarify why this vow, when we break this, when we don't have this character of truthfulness and honesty, it can dilute, it can be a stress to the marriage. Some people, like I said, it's not so much that we can't, it's not so much that we're liars, but we can't, like I said, accept the truth, or we cannot be honest about ourselves or about situations. So for instance, some people cannot accept the fact that they have problem with their money, with their money management. Maybe they're big spenders. You say, well, I'm just a generous person. But the reality is maybe that person, that you really have problem, that we have problem in our management or our financial management. And that creates stress in a marriage. Maybe we have problem with our time management, but we can't, we just said, well, I'm a free man, I can do whatever I want to do. But because we can't accept the truth that we're having problem with time management, again, it creates stress in a marriage. Here's another big one that Mimi and I often laugh about or talk sometimes about flirting, flirtatiousness, okay? Because Mimi and I, we're pastoring young people in our previous church, and I want to tell you one story because it's I think can happen to married people as much as unmarried people. But we know this couple in the other church, and we know them since they were young, okay? And they eventually dated and they got married. They're a wonderful couple and a great couple. But they have two different personalities. The girl is very serious, very quiet, very shy, and very spiritual. The guy on the other side is the opposite. Very flirty and he's a good talker. He's a very people person, and he likes to use his charm to attract girls and everything, and not very spiritual at the time. So, a very different personality. But somehow they fell in love. Before you get married, opposite attracts. Afterwards, opposite, attacks. But before that, opposite attracts. So they fell in love and they were dating. And I remember Mimi and I went out for mission, and we took 20 teenagers with us from different churches, but some from our church. So they came in a mission for a whole month. And when you take teenagers on a mission trip and they live together for a whole month, hormones start flying, right? They're just flying everywhere. And you can see all the guys and girls. And this guy, like I said, he's the king of flirt, and so he was just flirting and everything. And I feel so bad for the girl because she was so angry. I couldn't tell she's just not enjoying the mission because she was so jealous. She tried not to be jealous. How girls, they try not to be jealous, but they really do jealous, So she was just having a hard time. But here's the thing. When Mimi and I talk to the guy or we confront this guy, this is what he always say, oh, come on, we're not flirting. I'm not flirting. I'm just friendly, I'm just a friendly guy. Come on, we're just friends. We just, come on. It's just, we're supposed to be friends. We have to have friends. We just fun, come on. So you see what I'm saying? It's not so much he's lying, but it's that sometimes we have a hard time accepting the truth that we are weak in a certain area. And so if we have that kind of problem, it's very hard to build a healthy marriage. I don't know if you heard the story about a man who went to church with a neck brace. And the pastor said, let me pray for you. And the man said, no, don't pray for me, pastor, because I said, why? Because I'm suing somebody. And if I get healed and I take off my brace, I might lose the court case. So come on, why you, in other words, he's putting the thing on just for us a show. And it's like that joke, but the man, again, the same thing. He's in court. He has a sling in his arm because he got into a car accident. And he has a sling, and then the lawyer asks him, well, after the accident, how high can you lift up your arm? Oh, I can only lift up this high. Well, before the accident, the lawyer asked, how high can you lift up your hands? Oh, I can lift up this high. You got to be truthful, the point is, okay? You got to be honest, okay? Otherwise, you can't lift it, so something that you got tricked. But anyway, the last vow, okay? The last one for this one is vow number 10. It says, you shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, his male and female servant, his ox, his donkey, and anything else that belongs to your neighbor. Okay? Now let's contextualize this again in 21st century. Well, don't covet your neighbor's house. Everybody knows what a house looks like, okay? Don't be jealous. Don't be envious. And I don't have to show you what a wife looks like because everybody knows what a wife looks like, okay? And so, but then it says that you should not